As a job seeker, you probably have multiple versions of your resume. In fact, I've met people who are very proud to say they have 50 versions of their resume. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? The truth is that you probably do have multiple versions of your resume, but they're based on one basic main resume that you built. When you first start to create your resume, you're going to have a job target in mind. That's where you should start with building your resume. Your experience section is going to be pretty static for each of these resumes because in order to format it for an applicant tracking software system, or ATS, you do need to have certain information in certain ways so that the ATS can parse it. So that means that if you've ever heard of a functional resume, it's probably not going to be very effective with ATS because they can't read it. Therefore, having that one main resume that has your entry section where you talk about yourself and what you're looking for, and then your experience section is the way to build. There are two main components of your resume. The first part is that top third, or as we call in marketing, above the fold. That's where you're going to have your contact information, your title or headline, your summary or branding statement, and your keywords. This is your dynamic section. You should be addressing and possibly even changing your top part of your resume every time you apply for a new job. After that, you have the professional experience and your education and anything else that you choose to include on your resume. That's going to be your more static experience. So you really won't be changing that each time you apply to a different job. There are some times where you will. For instance, if you are one of those lucky people who has lots of accomplishments and you really only want to put about 5 accomplishments per position, you can pull those in and out for different roles that you're applying to. Likewise, if you're applying to a position that's above where you are now, you may want to draw more into the managerial components that you've done in the past and might change that experience section slightly to incorporate those. However, if you're applying for something that's across the board, like you're just moving laterally, you may want to just keep that the same. As you look at your resume, again, every time you apply to different positions and you're changing it, focus on that top third. This is what you'll change. You're going to change your title. The position that you put there is the position you're applying for. Then you're going to look at and possibly change your summary or branding statement because that's what's going to answer the question, why should I hire you? Why should I hire you for a project manager? Could be a different response as to why should I hire you for our CIO. Then you're also going to spend a lot of time on your keywords or areas of expertise section. That's what's going to help you get found by applicant tracking software. So you'll likely need to change almost all of them, if not all of them, every time that you apply for a different position. Some other things to think about when you're updating your resume. If you are looking at 2 very distinct fields for your next job, you're probably going to have to do some major work on your resume to support those different goals. So for instance, if you're looking at something in IT over on one side, but maybe something in marketing on the other side, those are very different and they'll have very different experience, keywords, and possibly accomplishments. Also, if you are looking at jobs in the tech field versus government versus nonprofit, you might also have different versions of your resume. However, each of those versions will be built on the basic resume that you built to begin with. So to recap, you will have one main resume, but you're going to be changing that resume every time you apply to a different job. Focus on the top third of your resume for what you're changing, and then tweak the rest of the resume to support that. Also, make sure that you are including your cover letter that points to the facts that you want to highlight in your resume.